Hey everyone, Chris here from Real Rideshare Stories. On this channel we do a lot of different things within the rideshare industry, whether it be tips and tricks for both passengers and drivers, as well as what happens outside the vehicle on bad driving caught on camera compilations, but mostly what happens inside the vehicle on actual rideshare rides. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button and make sure you ring the bell for notifications. Also, before we get started, if you have a crazy Uber or Lyft experience, whether you're a passenger or a driver, record it, send it my way, and maybe we can feature you on the channel. All right, so today I was going to talk to you. I was actually going to do a live stream, but for some reason something was going on with my phone where it's not able to do live stream right now, which is fine. That's cool. So I'm just going to record it and upload it. But today I'm going to talk to you about smells. What is that smell? Especially when you're driving with Uber and Lyft. You could come across a lot of different people. We're also going to be talking not only about the passenger side, but in the car that you might get into when you are a passenger. So we'll talk about the driver's side as well too. And then kind of the inspiration behind this, and it's kind of a funny story, but I'm going to tell you guys that at the end. So first, if you're a driver and you're going around picking up people, you're in close quarters with somebody, or multiple people, and all of a sudden you might smell something that is not pleasant, and that could be a little toot a little bit of fart, whatever it might be. Also, quick side note, I do have the windows down because it's absolutely gorgeous outside, and if I close the windows it's going to get way too hot in here. So sorry if you hear some audio from outside, but such a beautiful day today. But yeah, so let's go back to the smells. So if you're driving, you pick up a lot of different people. You might run into quite a few people that stink, whether it be body odor, whether it be drinking, maybe they spilled drinks on them, whatever it might be. Marijuana is a big one. Quite a few different ones. There's a lot of different smells. It could even be the food that they have, or just nasty body odor. It could be a number of different things. So the way to treat that and the way to kind of combat that so then it doesn't smell for the next ride, there's a number of different things you can do. The easiest and the quickest is roll down the windows. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the winter. It doesn't matter if it's in the crazy heat of the summer. Roll down the windows, just air out the car. If you notice for some reason that even that smell and rolling down the windows didn't work, then I use something a little bit stronger, and that's this guy. A couple of sprays, maybe inside, in the back, and maybe on the passenger side, 2 or 3 good quick sprays right into the fabric and let it get in the air. It absorbs everything, and then I'll even roll down the windows to kind of let that smell fade out a little bit, but that takes care of things really well. Another thing that I do have that I use on occasion are these little pine trees. This one's the new car scent. I don't like using them too much, only if it's kind of like in the middle of winter, where the windows aren't down and you're not getting as much fresh air, or if like the cabin filter's dirty and I haven't changed it yet, something like that where you're kind of getting a little bit of just a little tiny smell. I might crack one of those open, but I do the weak things so it doesn't get strong too long or too quick. If you pull the whole thing out, it's going to smell bad. It's going to be overpowering, and it's going to actually be a turnoff for your passengers. And then the same thing even with the Febreze. You could use it and spray it, and then somebody gets in, but that smell can be overwhelming, and that's something you want to avoid as well. You don't want this car to be way too pungent or way too overwhelming. Same thing with perfumes, colognes, anything you might put on as a driver to try to make things smell well. It's just simple. Take a shower, stay clean, and be good that way. One other thing too with passengers that get in and stink, you can roll down the window. It might seem like it's bad or something if that's all that you're thinking about is this smell that's coming in. But you know what? Roll down the window, make sure you get some fresh air, do something. Don't have the recirc on your heat or your air conditioning. Pull fresh air in from outside. Do stuff to get air coming in, and then breathe through your mouth is another thing that you can do as a driver who's got to deal with a smelly passenger. And then right when they get out of the vehicle, roll down those windows, let it air out. And like I said, if you need to use the Febreze or you need to use something else or Lysol or whatever it might be that you use to get smells out, spray a little bit, but keep the windows down just so then it freshens that air and dilutes that smell. So then the next passenger that comes in doesn't have to deal with that. Now, for passengers getting into cars that smell, that's one thing too that does happen. I was once, I think in Vegas maybe, and I got into a car, or maybe it was Florida, I don't remember, somewhere though I was, and I went into a car and it was not the best smell. It smelled like the dude just ate food. I'm not going to get into what kind of food it was, but it was definitely some stinky food. It just smelled like that. And I don't know if he just ate. Hey, that's fine, that's cool, we got to get out, we got to eat, we got to make. So I kind of put it past, but the thing is, the smell was just there, and it didn't make the ride pleasant, it didn't make the ride good, and it just was kind of like offsetting, even though I knew like getting to point A to point B fine, but still it just kind of turned me off that way. And it's the same thing. So try to keep your car as neutral smelling or just slightly positive. Like I just said earlier, watch the colognes, watch the perfumes, try to dilute anything that you might make an artificial smell, but just try to pull fresh air in, because that's going to be the best thing that you can do. And yeah, that's all I can kind of really say about smells. But yeah, it's definitely something that you want to take care of before the next passenger gets in. Whether you're a driver with a bad smell or a passenger who came in that was smelling and trying to alleviate that smell as quick as possible. There's plenty of different things, but yeah, you're in close quarters. And one final thing on that is, if there's two people in the car and you let one rip and you both are going to smell that, that's going to be probably a real issue there for that other person. So just hold it off a little bit. Yeah, that's all I can really say. And this video was actually inspired by something that happened to me over this past weekend. So I was actually driving from my house out somewhere, not actually driving for Uber or Lyft at the time. It was raining, so I had the windows closed. I actually had my vent off because it was a really nice day. And all of a sudden, I'm driving down the street and I get this really nasty smell. And I'm like, what is that? Because I drive this route all of the time and I never smell anything like that. And I'm like, did my deodorant already fail? That don't sound right. And no, it wasn't. But what it ended up being was I came up to a stop sign or a stoplight, and all of a sudden it got worse. And then as we started going, it got better again, but it was still there. It was just this faint, nasty ass smell. And so I came up to the next stoplight and I'm like, oh my God, it's the car in front of me. And it was. It's like, how bad does your car have to smell to actually pollute the air around it when your windows were closed and my windows were closed without the vent on? That had to have been some stank ass there for sure. I got nothing. I don't know what I can say about that one, but yeah, that was so horrible. And the fact that it was a different vehicle that I could smell, you knew that getting into that car would have been really bad, or that person getting into a Uber or Lyft would have been really bad. So yeah, you just want to make sure, wrapping up, if you got any odors in your car, whether it be too positive, like cologne or perfume, or even like Febreze or something, if you spray that or if you have that, open your windows, dilute it, make sure it doesn't have that much of a smell, only because when you're in the vehicle, you're not getting a lot of airflow if you have the windows up or even the vent maybe on like a low setting. as well as drivers, make sure you take showers, just smell clean, and passengers, same thing, just keep it smelling good. But yeah, as a driver, like I say, if you got to do that, just make sure you dilute everything. And with that being said, that's the end of today's video. I am going to do quick videos like this just for the next few days, because I am doing a full-time week of 40 hours with all of my other obligations. I kind of had to cut the editing out a little bit. So these are just going to be one takes from start to finish. And if they're not great, that's okay. Just because I'm just trying to get this video out. And basically what it is, I'm doing a video segment for the Rideshare Hub, which is talking about what you can expect for a typical week driving part-time, driving for just a weekend, and then also putting in a full 40 hours. So that's what I'm doing this week. It's going to take up a lot of my time because I already have many other obligations going on, so it's eating up into my editing and video time for this channel. So again, I'm just going to kind of do these one-take videos and kind of get it up there for you. Just some different information along, but today I wanted to talk about the smells. So with that being said, that's the end of today's video. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, make sure you do, as well as hit the bell for notifications so you'll be notified every time a new video is uploaded. And as always, never drink and drive. Always tip your drivers, and we'll see you next time.